All right, we're live. Welcome, brother. I am Wes, host of the Skin Deep Tattoo Podcast, and I've got my good friend and co-worker, Mr. Spicoli. How you doing, brother?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Wes. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm stoked. Funny enough, I know barely any of your tattoo story. Let's start with the what was the first tattoo you got and why did you get it? And I'll actually bring it up here on the screen.
Well, the first tattoo I got was this koi fish here. I was 17 years old, and I just couldn't wait. I just had to get one. So I had a friend that he was about 14 or 15. Somehow he had a full sleeve going on, and he was like, "Yeah, I got you," and took me to his guy's house. Luckily, he somewhat knew what he was doing. It's not the worst tattoo I've ever seen. I didn't lose my foot or anything, but
Yeah, dude, it's
yeah, I
still
just got in
there.
some dude's kitchen when I was 17.
It's like, bro, honestly, uh, I like recognize that design off the JD Crow flash is probably where it
Oh
came
yeah,
from.
yeah. It's something I found off of Google or something. I actually had to go to the library to print it off for him with the guy's wife because he didn't even have a printer.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah, it cost me
awesome.
like $40 and a roll of paper towels.
Dude, that's awesome. So this next tattoo we got, what do we got going on over here with the
That's
rose?
that's one I got pretty early on during my apprenticeship. Um, it was actually shortly after I got that nickname. I don't even know if that nickname had stuck yet, but we were already tattooing it on me. One of the guys was basically like, I want to practice some lettering, and we couldn't figure out some lettering to do. So it's just like, well, let's just put your nickname on it.
That's cool. Well, that's a good segue then. So you're 17, you get the itch, roll the paper towels and a trip to the print shop, get the koi. What's the transition to then you becoming a tattoo apprentice? Like, was there a career path you were on beforehand, or did this happen pretty quick? How'd this go?
Not really a career path, probably a dead end career path, where I saw it coming. Just working in like restaurants and uh, factories and all that kind of stuff. Seeing guys I worked with for like 20 years hating their life, and they're come to work every day miserable, and I wanted to do something I really enjoyed. Didn't think I could ever tattoo, but that's what really sparked my drive to try it out. And I was about what 18 when I started my apprenticeship.
Okay, how'd you land that?
I started getting tattooed at an actual shop when I was 18. I got my chest tattooed, and I just kept bugging the guy. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I kept messaging him like, "How do you do this? How do you get into this?" I was showing up at the shop every single day. Eventually, he was just like try to push me off on the piercer, like he can help you out, set you up, and I just kept coming back and bothering him. And then it turned into like, all right, let's give you like a 2 week trial period, and that was basically them just trying to bully me enough to get me out of the shop to not show up back again. By
Right.
the end of it, they ended up pepper spraying me, and I was still there at the shop all day. So
No shit,
yeah,
dude.
by the end of the day, they're like, "All right, well, I'll take you as an apprentice now," and give you my first machine.
Dude, that's awesome. And where was that? That wasn't in Columbus, was it?
No, it was in the Dayton area. It was just north of Dayton in Vandalia, there by the airport.
Okay.
The shop was called Studio B52.
Do you remember how long? Because it sounds like you had a pretty traditional, like old school apprenticeship, getting bullied, seeing if they can get you out, getting pepper sprayed. I know from my experience, then those apprenticeships weren't that long or in depth until you were actually tattooing on real clients. Do you recall like how long your apprenticeship was or how detailed it was and when you did your first tattoo?
Well, I did my first tattoo about 4 months in.
Okay.
Probably about like 8 months in, I was probably full time. Basically, probably because they needed somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of people got let go and that kind of thing. And then my apprenticeship lasted about a year. My mentor ended up actually suddenly passing away after almost exactly a year. It was like the same month a year later from when
Oh,
I actually
wow.
started my apprenticeship. So that basically ended it, and I was just like I'd been full time for a while, and just started the job hunt. Luckily, somebody gave me the shot and hired me full time instead of rehiring me as an apprenticeship.
Oh, nice. And that was in Dayton too.
Yeah, yeah, that shop was Modified Skin there in Moraine, just south of town.
Cool. So what got you up to Columbus? And we'll click over here to the next slide. So a couple of your tattoos that you've done as well. So then how long were you tattooing until you made it to Columbus, and how'd you end up hooking up with Joey?
I'd been tattooing like 4 years, and then I had heard of Joey and everything before, and I wanted to live in a larger city. I actually was on like probation for a DUI for like 2 years, and I was like, I got to get out of here now that I'm free. Um, and then just business around there was kind of slower. I wanted to be in a bigger city where they have a lot more clientele and that kind of stuff and walk-ins. I wanted to live in town where I could work and walk to work and walk around to everything I needed. So
Right on.
really, and then yeah, I knew of Joey shops. I didn't get a first start there. I kind of had it in at another shop, took that, and then
Oh,
eventually
okay.
Joey actually ended up offering me a job. High
Okay.
Street was originally where I wanted to work, but weirdly enough, yeah, I think timing wise, it got a year under my belt of all those tiny little fine line tattoos and all those college tattoos being up on campus.
Right. Got it. I didn't realize that. So you didn't start at High Street though?
No, no, I was at another shop
Okay.
for a year, and then Joey had noticed some of my work and offered me a job. I tried to play it cool and be like, I gotta think about it, but instantly as soon as he messaged me, I wanted it.
That's awesome. So you're at High Street, which for anybody who doesn't know, Joey, we both currently work at Sacred Hand, but Joey owns 3 shops: Body Language, High Street Tattoo. So when did you make the intercompany move from High Street to Sacred Hand?
So I was at High Street for like 5 years, and then normally it seems like kind of like a tier system thing. So it was about time for me to move on to the next shop. And Joey, I guess, thought I was ready and stuff. Um, and I've been over there for about like 2 years now.
Very cool.
I didn't really want to go at first. I just really liked working on High Street. I wanted to be in the mix of everything, but I really like the vibes and everything. It ended up being a really good move.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm stoked to work with you on the days that I get to work with you. So, what type of styles? I know I see you take walk-ins of everything, and I know I've probably told you 100 times as I walk by and you're holding a stencil that I'm like, dude, I would say no to that. Fuck, how are you planning on doing that? But kind of in your dream world, if you could just, what are your specialties, or what do you really like to sink your teeth into?
I guess I like the bolder stuff. I like stuff that I guess people say that look like tattoos. Stuff with lines and um, it could be black and gray or bold color. Or, as long as it's got like the foundations of a tattoo. On here, you can see I did a portrait as well, but I also like to put some soft edges, but it still has the fundamentals with line work and heavy black shading and everything.
Yep.
Um, but I really like to do whatever people want to get. Um, I do my own personal art on the side, so I kind of get my creativeness out of that way. But I'm a tattooer; that's my job. So I enjoy doing whatever people want to get. It's not going on me. I'd rather do what they want, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would say you were probably easily one of the more versatile tattooers in the shop. Definitely more versatile than I am. Able to take in any walk-in at all.
And then that kind of lends well for other tattoos. I've learned how to do line work clean from those tiny tattoos. I could do a bunch of million little tiny circles, and that just builds up to the larger stuff and making that quicker and look a lot better.
Yeah, totally. So you say you get some of your kind of creativeness out on other things. What are you doing outside of the shop? I know I see you riding your bike a lot.
Yeah, lately I've been getting into photography. I got a nice camera to take pictures of my tattoos and make them look real nice. And then figured I should probably learn how to use that thing. And so I've just been going out and taking pictures, and then also I do painting and stuff. And now I've kind of graduated into oil painting in the last year. I tried acrylic and all that stuff. I still do watercolor with flash, but um, I just really like to play with the paint and everything and kind of take my time, sit back, look at it, smoke a joint for a little while and it's still wet and I can still play with it.
Right.
This being one of the I think the second portrait I've ever painted, actually.
Dude, it's awesome. Yeah, your oil
Thank you.
paintings that I see you working on are fucking killer.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's enjoying it. Definitely helps. You got to sit there for hours and hours, and I don't know really where that comes from, but I feel like that's where the basis for art. You just need to sit there and be able to sit there for 20, 30 hours and work on something.
Well, it's probably nice too, because that's the complete opposite of tattooing. You're under tattooing, we're under a timeline. There's another client waiting, or you got another appointment lined up, and I got to nail this thing 100% to their satisfaction now in X amount of time. And then it's send them off, as opposed to, it sounds like oil painting. You can sit there and
Yeah, you're gonna have fun with it. I'm not hurting someone. Sometimes, I mean, that feels bad to hurt somebody. It doesn't. I don't enjoy doing that. So when somebody's screaming or squirming by the end of it, I start to feel pretty bad, and you're not concentrating as much that way. And generally, people only get about 3-4 hours, and they're done.
right. Yeah, so must be nice to be able to spend, like you said, 25, 30 hours on an oil painting and not have to deal with a squirming client.
Yeah. That and the style's a lot more conducive, I think. Instead of tattooing on the skin, just it overworks the skin.
Yeah.
It's
You can
layers and layers and layers. So
yeah, you can only build so many layers on skin. That's for sure. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Good to get to know you a little bit better too. I didn't realize your evolution, and that Joey didn't recruit you out of the gates either. So I'm not seeing you today. Today's your day off, I believe.
Yep.
But
I'll be hanging out painting at home, working from home.
I will be seeing you this weekend then, brother. Have a good one.
All right, man. See you
Later, brother.